Good morning, my royal lambs. I hope that you guys are all having a fantastic morning. It's roughly 8:30, 8:40 here, in the lovely Phoenix, Arizona. Anyways, God woke me up with such a powerful message. I just have to share with you guys all what He gave me to share with you all. But first and foremost, you're probably wondering who this is, and some of you may know him because I take him out at night sometimes, and we go to Bottled Blondes, and we go to Dakota, and we take pictures with people with, it's just, oh, in Charlie's, we go everywhere, But this little guy right here is Prince Bernard, and he's a prince just like myself, and I gave him that name because Bernard means strength and it means courage. And because of it, I named him that because it reminds me of myself. Anywho, the message that I wanted to give to you guys today, again, it's so profound and it's so amazing. It's about love. And about holding on. And I know that a couple of the messages that I posted is continuing to it's about holding on again, because again, in this life, what we're seeing and what we're hearing, it's very hard, it's very dark, and your people are even fearful. They're like, what do I do? And I can understand that because people can only fear the unknown, and that's what fear is. Fear is the unknown. Now, with the message today, with love, God revealed to me, we have to love our enemies. And I know it sounds so cliche. Why do we love? When we love and we do the basics of things, it gives us a sense of peace. But because it gives us a sense of peace, you really don't have enemies. So if God says to love your enemies, it's not you who has an issue with anybody. It's those people that are your enemies, hence the ones who speak bitter and evil words, who have the problem with you. And not even maybe the problem with you, but the problem of who's in you. So God gives us two commandments to follow for every human being that walks on this earth, that breathes every single day, that wakes up in mercy. He says to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, mind, and soul. And the second is to love your neighbor the way you love yourself. Your neighbor is every person that you may come across in this world. They may not talk like you. They may not have the same culture as you. They may not even be the same sex as you. But still, you have an order and a commandment. And that commandment is still to love the way you love yourself. And we're living in a generation where loving self is, it's almost annoying how much people love themselves. And I could even say for me to a certain degree, I'm not, I don't love myself so much where I, not like that, not where it's conceited or anything. But, sometimes I'm like, you know what, you're paying a little bit too much attention to yourself. You're paying a little bit too much attention to yourself instead of what is inside you. Unfortunately, the outer man, it decreases, it perishes daily. But the inner man is renewed daily. Anyways, so when we love someone who doesn't love us back, in the end, God showed me, it's not even for them that you're loving them for because it's hard, but it's for Him. It's for Him, when He says, if you love me, Jesus Christ, follow my commandments. And it clicked. Somebody told me a couple days ago, you live in a fantasy land because you act like everything is just peachy and you just act in la la land and everything is, beautiful, peaches and cream. It's not that everything is peaches and cream. It's when you get the understanding through the Spirit who delivers truth, you begin to live life a little bit easier each and every single day. Hence, Prince Bernard, that courage and that strength I'm telling you about, he says, wait on me, wait on Jesus. And when you wait on Him, He will strengthen your heart. He will give you good courage for you to endure this thing called life. And with that said and done, they were like, you just, you act like nothing's wrong. And I said, I could see how somebody would think that. It's because when I wake up every day, I realize now we have the power to speak anything we want in this life. We have the power to speak death. We have the power to speak life. And if you speak death, you get death. If you speak life, you get life. And there's two people, one who are living and one who have life. You know, God showed me yesterday, even, somebody who's living, it could be on life support. That's not life. That's just living. They're living, but, I don't know if they're even growing, but they say they're breathing, so that's a form of living. But to have life is to grow each and every single day. Life is green, life is eternal. And that's what I choose to speak every single day amongst this world who speaks death, who speaks hell, who speaks no mercy. When you realize, again, going back to the basics of what God wants us to be, He says to rejoice. He says to, if somebody persecutes you, hence, anybody who is mad at anybody for their beliefs or sex or religion, whatever, if they persecute you, Jesus says to rejoice, and He also says every day that you wake up, and I forgot where it is, and I'll find it for you guys. I'll let you guys know when I come back on another video. But it says, "This is the day that the Lord has made." So as long as you wake up, you know that the Lord made it. I don't care what memory you don't have. Again, I don't care. The world may say you've done. We wake up because the Lord made this day, and the key thing He says to be glad and rejoice in it. Huh. So you mean we can rejoice and be glad on the day that you made every single day? Is it easy every day? No. Because He promises tribulations. I'm just giving you some key things here. There may not be a lot of likes on here, but I know a lot of people will be hearing the truth. In addition to that, He says, be of good cheer. He says, in the world is tribulation, but I promise peace. Rejoice and be glad. Be of good cheer doesn't mean be sad. Kind of looks like Bernard's foot. It doesn't mean be sad, but it means be glad. And that's why when I got those key things and this thing called life, where it's very, very hard for everybody, I'm assuming, I realized, you know what? Even though it may be hard, I say, you know what? I'm strong, Lord. You know what? I know I'm going through this and I see that and I heard that, Lord, but I am more than a conqueror through you, Lord. I know I heard that, Lord, but I'm an heir. I know I heard that, Lord, but I am wonderfully and fearfully made, even though the world has counted me off for nothing. The key thing that Jesus showed me, and that's what I wanted to share with you guys as far as love, is as long as we hold on, we get this thing. We get this thing. It's a crown. Hence, royal black sheep. But we have to walk in the land like this. And walking in the land like this, this thing, a dog could tear it up. And all the cotton could come out, But as far as being sheep, we have to be harmless amongst the people that, are vicious. It's not our job to be vicious back. When we say we love Jesus and we act vicious like them, I have to question what's inside of those people who say they love Jesus when they act like what they're acting. But at the end of the day, it's not for me to justify. What I can share with you guys is, we have to walk amongst this land harmless. And Jesus did it as an example on the cross. His 12 disciples, 12, his 12 disciples, one deceived him. Well, two, maybe actually all of them actually did in their own kind of way. And I'll explain. One did because of, Peter. He denied Jesus 3 times, and Jesus knew that he would be denied by Peter 3 times, somebody that was his best friend. I would be so hurt if my friend denied me 3 times, but Jesus still loved. Jesus had, the Last Supper and knew that Judas was going to deceive him in order to be crucified on the cross. I'd be so hurtful. And sometimes I walk amongst people that I know I'm being deceived by. I know are smarter than me. But I still have to love because Jesus is the best example that anybody has ever had. When we compare ourselves amongst ourselves, we lose. But when we compare ourselves with God, we rise. And that's who I continue to compare myself with every single day. So these people that say, you know what, you act like you're perfect. No, baby, I'm not perfect. Far from it. There's only one man that came to this earth that was perfect and knew no sin. We all who are born here now, um, after Adam and Eve, AC and or excuse me, BC and also AD, we are born in sin, unfortunately. But there's a person who we don't have to, we don't have to have that sin. We can, it's not even for us to bear. So when people are saying I'm depressed and I'm fearful and this and that, that's what this cross is for. Jesus died on the cross so that we don't have to bear pain. It's not for us to bear. We're not made to carry all that pain. It's too much. It's too much. And when you don't know, when those forces come against your mind, that's when suicide happens. That's when depression happens. That's when, you get bitter at people. And it doesn't work that way. And last thing is on this is that, all the 12 disciples, Jesus prayed, when he said, come up here to the mountain with me, or, when he was praying so hard because he knew that his time was coming. He knew, and he said, please, if you can, just stay awake with me. Just stay awake. All of the disciples fell asleep. So that lets us know man will fail us all day long if we put our trust in man. No matter how much we love them, no matter how much they say they love us, it's because they're not designed to save us. There's only one Savior, you guys, and that's Jesus Christ. And Jesus held on, he even though he saw what he may have went through, was going to go through even, he was terrified. He said, Lord, take this cup from me. I don't want it. I don't want it. It's too much, but God knew that he was designed for it because look at this. God knew his beginning from his ending. So I see God just cheering Jesus on, but unlike those spirits, they want to make themselves known, and that's why our faith it doesn't justify the things that we see. It's the things that we don't see and or hear because God is peace. But that man of hell, that man that is of rage, he has to sell himself, really. Let me sell him this lie, see if they'll believe it. So if it's the majority talking the same, will you believe it, even though it's a lie? Huh, remember that. So Jesus still went to the cross, and when he went to the cross, he even cried so bad, and God let me see this yesterday. He cried so bad to God amongst all those men wearing Versace's and Oscar de la Rentas and, Gucci's and, whatever, but, and drinking like champagne, Dom Perignon, and, and gold cups, laughing. If you're God, take yourself off the cross. If I'm getting mocked, I wonder how Jesus got mocked, and he was the only person to bear it. And in the midst of it, he was like, Father, why have you forsaken me? My goodness. But one thing he didn't do is give up, and why I say that is because he even looked at the man and said, you know what, Father, please forgive them, for they know not what they do. Oh my goodness. For him to say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do, in the midst of all those pains and feeling like he got forsaken, that's powerful. But then he released his spirit. One thing is certain, he never gave up, the faith. It's only when you keep the faith, no matter what you see, hear, and or feel, that you get this thing. Unfortunately, it hurts. It hurts because life, it hurts. And things that we see are kind of crazy. But nothing is new under the sun. So if you continue to endure, like he said, in the last days, all you have to do is just float. And how do you float? Is amour. Is je t'aime. Is love. That's the only way you can do it. Because if you fight by the sword, guns and this and that, you die by the sword. If you just love, that's what you're going to get. Maybe not back, but you know what? They'll know that you're called by him. The very, very last thing that I say is, to all those people that say, why is he still here? Why is he even amongst us? I'm going to let you know. It's because faith in his name, I stand here strong. And his name is Jesus Christ. And that's the only reason why I'm here. And I've learned by faith in his name is that I have to love you all because I love him. Even though I love you, it's really not even for you, but it's for him at the end of the day. I leave you guys with that today. Remember, just because you're a black sheep and not a white sheep, it doesn't mean that we're not all led by the same shepherd. Love God, love self, love others. I hope that you all have a wonderful, wonderful morning. Mwah. Take care.